I've hijacked my sister while she's by herself, and I thought I'd ask her some questions just one-on-one. So she's packing to go back to the
Texas.
good old US of A, Texas.
Uh-huh.
And I thought I would take this opportunity to bond, do a little one-on-one.
She cornered me.
Basically, I cornered her. I just said, we're
She
doing
knew
this.
I had a lot to put in the bag and that I would be right here. So she brought the camera in, plopped herself down, and here we are.
Tell me what you really think of Courtney.
I really enjoy Courtney. So I think it's really helpful that she is a person that she's pleasant company. So it makes it a lot easier to be kumbaya. Does that make sense? I think that if she were a person that maybe didn't naturally jive as well with you and, you know, as an extension with me, it would be much tougher to have such a copacetic relationship. So, we're in a lucky place.
I know you said you were checking her out, but what was your motivation to friend her on Facebook before?
Well, I think by nature that's also who I am too, is
True.
I'm probably a little bit nosy. So I want to be in the business, everyone's business, but especially, please, I'm not that much in her business, but I do, as much as I can, want to be a part of the kids' lives. And so if she, like I said earlier, if she's a factor in it, then I'm going to insert myself and make sure that it's, you know, another layer of, I don't want to say protection, but like another checks and balance, right? Like she clears me. I don't know what that means to you.
So would you have told me the truth? And because I mean, you've never said anything negative about her. Actually, now that I think about it, we've never had any conversation which was negative. Did you ever have any doubts? Did you have any questions about, like, was there anything that put you off?
I mean, at first I was like, who is this person? She thinks she can just swoop in and, but that wasn't Courtney. That was, it could have been anyone, right? Like it could have been anyone that as soon as they encroach on your territory, your guard immediately goes up and is like, okay, you're awfully comfortable. Why are you so comfortable in my space, in my territory, and with my family? And you put a lot of blind faith, right? And blind faith in JP, who I wasn't the happiest with, and his judgment.
She's gonna start crying. You're gonna start crying. Why?
I'm gonna be Auntie Sophie the sloppy.
That's okay. No, this is good.
Yeah, you just have to. I don't know. It sucks because the person that you hate most in that moment, which was JP, you have to trust that he like put someone in, you know, his kids' lives that is not a jerk. It's just the arrangement that you guys have to have is.
Right.
You put blind faith in the other to only introduce people into these kids' lives that are appropriate. Is there tissue somewhere?
So, coming from a family like ours where divorce was kind of typical and the parents hated each other and didn't really get along and certainly weren't willing to spend holidays together, how did you first take all this tree-hugging kumbaya thing that we were trying to introduce?
Oh, I was so skeptical.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was weird to me the first time I was like a part of it. And I was trying to figure out what is the dynamic with the kids.
Right.
And how did they act, and did they act strange? Because I know if my mom and our dad were in a room together, I would immediately become closed off. Mm-hmm. And protective, and I would do everything I can to appease one, run over to the other and appease the other, and make sure there is separation and distance between them, and we would act as middlemen, right?
Right.
That's usually how that goes. So I was looking to see what's the dynamic in the room, and how would the kids act, and would it change any of their behaviors in the slightest, and if it did, what's my place and how do I fall into this new world order?
So how long did it take you to get past JP? Because one of the things that we were talking about when it came to the Friends episode is that certainly friends have a hard time getting past the scenario because they see us upset and then all of a sudden we tell them, okay, move on. And in this situation, you knew that I was going through divorce and it was a very tough time, and then all of a sudden everyone's all like, okay, it's all happy, move on. Like, how long did it take you to actually adjust to everyone being like to the point where, and may I ask you now, does it feel normal for you, or is it still a little skewed?
No, it feels completely normal now, but I also, I mean, hindsight is 2020, right? Like, I didn't know that I would come to this place, but had that never happened, you would never have been with Mike. I would not have had Nick and Katie in my life.
True.
And so, as much as it sounds crappy, I'm glad for it, because I have 2 more kids in my life and then Mike.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for how it played out, but it's just not a fun ride.
No.
So
How
it's
long
hard
did
to say, looking back, at what one point was I all of a sudden okay with it. But there were some definite peaks. When I met Nick and Katie, they became completely equals. Do you have tissues under your seat somewhere? I was hoping that's what you were reaching for. It's like simultaneous.
You're oozing everywhere.
I know! I'm sappy.
You are sappy. You got the sappy gene.
I know.
I didn't get the sappy
You're the
gene.
heartless one.
Not the heartless one. How long did it take you to kind of get past being angry and just being okay with JP? Because, you know...
Well, it doesn't... You don't flip a switch and you're not all of a sudden okay. I think the feelings are always going to be there, that it's like, hey, remember that one time this guy right here, who is still very much part of our lives, you know, hurt my sister. That doesn't ever go away. Ever, ever, ever. It's part of it.
Right. But, I mean, divorce is never one-sided, right? I mean,
Sure. Well, you probably hurt him. I mean, I'm not
it's
saying
rarely
that.
one-sided, but I guess as family you don't necessarily...
I mean, my allegiance is to you.
Right. Team Julia.
Team Julia.
That makes sense.
My energy is not focused on JP in the kindest way.
Yeah. Good point.
It doesn't need to be. Because JP will forever and always be in your life as the status quo, at the very least. He has to be.
Right.
Mike is where the energy shifts.
Good point.
I guess my parting words are,
Okay.
there are a lot more people involved than what you think.
Okay.
Period. That there are people on the fringes that are much more impacted than what you would assume off the top. Right? There's the mom and the dad, and then there's the children, and then there's the exes, but there's outliers, right, that have opinions and that carry pain, and that that are a factor. You might be the focal point of this scenario, but that others may need to talk about it as well, and to involve as many other people and be open to conversations, because not only is it healthy for you to talk, it's healthy for others to express.